We usually assume that if someone pulls back from starting therapy, it's because they are afraid. We picture the anxiety of walking into a clinic and the emotional weight of opening up to a stranger. But for a massive portion of the population, the hesitation has nothing to do with emotional readiness. The real wall blocking them is entirely logistical. It is the 2-hour round trip, the rigid office hours, and the struggle to find childcare. This creates the action gap, a frustrating space where your desire to get help is high, but the daily friction of actually attending an appointment makes starting feel impossible. Look at this chart plotting the desire for therapy against logistical friction. When high desire meets high friction, you land right here in the top right. This is the action gap. You want the care, but the calendar simply won't allow it. This gap traps specific groups of people. It catches the working professional who cannot realistically carve out half a workday for a session, and the parent who cannot justify the cost of a babysitter just to attend to their own well-being. To address our personal mental health crisis, we first have to bypass the schedule clashes and commuting roadblocks that keep us out of the physical office. Telehealth therapy exists specifically as the structural solution to that friction. Still, many people hesitate because they assume a video call is a compromise, that trading a physical couch for a screen means settling for a lesser, watered-down version of clinical care. The clinical data proves otherwise. Peer-reviewed research shows that for conditions like depression, anxiety, and PTSD, telehealth produces outcomes equivalent to in-person sessions. The confidentiality, the therapeutic relationship, and the evidence-based approaches are exactly the same. Telehealth is a logistical bypass. You are getting a real therapy session with a licensed, credentialed therapist. The only thing that changes is where you sit. Choosing virtual care is a straightforward calculation. You are exchanging the controlled environment of a traditional clinic for supreme convenience without sacrificing the quality of your treatment. Let's weigh exactly what that trade-off looks like, starting with geography. For a lot of people, simply living near a specialized therapist is a privilege they do not have. In Georgia, the numbers are stark. 151 of 159 counties lack adequate mental health providers. In a rural area, reaching a clinic can mean a 60-mile drive each way. This map shows how telehealth rewires that system. It disconnects your access to care from your physical zip code. Those long rural commute lines disappear instantly. The immediate result is parity. A resident in rural Telfair County can connect with the exact same specialist as someone living in Midtown Atlanta. The cost of this access is that you do not share physical space with your provider. You rely entirely on a screen to capture the nuances of your conversation. But licensed therapists are highly trained to read nonverbal cues. They monitor facial expressions, vocal tone, posture, and breathing patterns, all of which translate clearly over a standard video connection. When you are geographically isolated, losing the shared physical room is a minor expense compared to gaining access to consistent, life-saving care. Next, we have to look at the environment itself.
For anxious first-timers, the physical act of walking into a public waiting room is a visible declaration that they are seeking help. That vulnerability is intensely intimidating. Watch the tension drop when someone realizes they can tackle those emotional hurdles from their own safe environment. Taking your session from a bedroom, a home office, or even a parked car drastically lowers the emotional barrier to entry. You remain firmly on your own turf. If you are concerned about digital privacy, know that clinical telehealth uses HIPAA-compliant end-to-end encryption. Functionally, your video feed is more secure than a conversation in an office with thin walls. The trade-off here falls squarely on your shoulders. Without a receptionist and a closed clinical door, you assume full responsibility for setting boundaries against household interruptions like kids or pets. You trade the pre-packaged quiet of a clinic for the comfort of home. It requires you to actively carve out and fiercely protect your own 50-minute sanctuary. The final trade-off involves the delivery method itself, relying on personal technology rather than clinic infrastructure. The requirements are incredibly low. You need a standard smartphone or laptop with a camera, and an internet connection stable enough to stream a video. Naturally, you are dependent on that local connection. If internet drops, you might experience a technical hiccup and pivot to a standard phone call. But compare that minor technical risk to the behavioral reward. When you eliminate traffic, parking, and tight scheduling, no-show rates plummet. People actually log on.
Consistency is the highest predictor of therapeutic success. A virtual session you attend every single week is functionally superior to a pristine office visit that you frequently have to cancel. Let's use this breakdown, the telehealth profile, to help you categorize whether this format fits your specific logistical constraints. On the optimal fit side, you live in a rural area far from specialists. You are a time-poor professional needing a lunch break session. You are a parent without reliable childcare, or you are highly anxious about walking into a physical clinic. On the suboptimal side, you live in a severely crowded household where finding a single private room is impossible, or you completely lack access to broadband internet. Additionally, if you psychologically require a hard physical change of scenery, a literal commute to transition into a vulnerable headspace, the at-home format might present a challenge. Ultimately, telehealth is a tool of empowerment. It allows you to customize how your mental health care is delivered, shaping it to fit the exact realities of your daily life. It is time to stop letting logistical friction act as a protective excuse to delay your mental health journey. The hardest part of therapy should be the internal work you do on yourself, not the external struggle of finding parking and a babysitter. Coping and healing counseling offers an immediate, frictionless path forward. Their team of 15 licensed therapists provides care to all 159 Georgia counties. The requirements to begin today are exactly this simple. You need your phone, a quiet space, and the decision to start. Telehealth removes the commute, the waiting room, and the scheduling nightmares. It clears the path so you can focus entirely on the only part that matters, your healing.